Hello class, so here we are in chapter 4, and some of the concepts in chapter 4 we have discussed in class together already. Last week for chapter 3 we did discuss, differentiated instruction, which is also in this chapter, and bottom line, the big point for the chapter is academic language versus content, assessing academic language and content. Assessing, not to be confused with testing. Next chapter will give you a better understanding of the difference between testing, assessing, and evaluating. So we're talking about assessing CALP, Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency, academic language, and assessing content knowledge. And so for that, you're going to have to, well, first and foremost, you need to read about content-based instruction. And this is, basically shelter instruction and learning to learn. If you're taking the other class I'm teaching, there's 2 or 3 of you that are taking both classes with me. So we're seeing here Gardner's multiple intelligences. Again, there's just like we did almost on the same chapter as in the other class. So this is really nice. The program is actually aligned. Speaking on alignment, this chapter also discusses alignment of standards, teaching and assessment, instruction and assessment. That we already discussed that in class. You already know what this alignment refers to, and I think you're grasping the concept well. And then the chapter moves into the 3 major areas: math, science, social studies. Not necessarily in that order. I mean, that's the order they put it in. I don't know that that's the order of importance, but that's the order they put it in. And so, and it gives you some of the examples. I do believe we have discussed this in class, but it gives you some of the examples on how the multiple meanings of words like plus or table, and how the book says that for many ELLs, table, is a common household thing, but we know that in mathematics it means a whole different thing, and it's got 2 or 3 other academic meanings that they don't necessarily know, and they may not necessarily understand or acquire explicitly in the classroom, like maybe your native speakers may, and not all your native speakers either, may explicitly understand these uses of table. Maybe it has to be implicitly pointed out through shelter instruction, and a good differentiation of the academic language used in that subject matter, in that particular unit, versus the actual content. So it goes into math, it goes into science, it goes into social studies, and it provides ample opportunities for you to investigate how instruction can be modified or used to approach content learning as well as academic language learning, and for you teachers, assessment. How you're going to be assessing these students on one or the other. And of course, the main point is going to be having the standards, your language standards and your content standards specific to what's going to be going on in the classroom. There's your first alignment from the standards to the instruction, and then from instruction to assessment. That's how you're going to be assessing that, not just testing, not just a math test or a CELA test or a test, but assessing how this learning is being acquired in both branches, in the academic language side as well as in the content side. I think, I don't know, I don't have much more. It's sort of a self-explanatory chapter. I mean, we could go into all the examples the book gives on math as well as science and social studies, but I would like to see that done in the discussions. The reflection for this week is sort of simple. If you already looked at it at the appendix, it basically gives you a number of words, and it's in the math content, and it just tells you to discuss, the many uses that these words can have, and hopefully it will help you reflect or self-reflect on the subject and the population that you teach, on how you can better improve your practices to start including these language standards and assessing the acquisition of academic language as much as the content itself, which is basically what we usually concentrate on. So hopefully you'll see the validity and the usefulness and the practicality of having these differentiated standards and instruction and assessment. and how that helps our ELLs particularly, but generally I do believe that it helps all students, monolinguals as well. And that's about it. As I was saying, let me go back to the reflection. It's sort of simple for this week, so let's expand. I will hope that we expand on that in our discussions, where you bring, hopefully and obviously, you will bring your personal examples from your classrooms, and don't stick to the math just because that's the reflection in the book. Open it up. I mean, do the activity if you want to, and then, you know, put it out as your mandatory posting thing. But feel free to expand on it and make it useful to you. With all of our classes in the master's program, please make that effort. Bring it home. Bring it to what is meaningful to you. Because that's the whole point of this. You know, we don't want to keep these things in the abstract universe completely worthless. So if you're like, dude, like this math activity means nothing to me, well, then take it one level higher. You know, I mean, we're talking about different meanings of vocabulary, that is specific vocabulary that is used in a specific subject matter, and why is it important to point out these multiple uses of language and academic language in the subject matter that you're teaching. So then bring it to that. Bring it to your ground and reflect on that and put it out for everybody to discuss. And so let's try and do that. And if you do math, perfect. This activity will be great for you. So anyway, that's about what I have. I will be seeing you in the discussions and next week for chapter 4. Bye.